News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
News Talk KGVO, AM 1290 and now 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
Western Montana rivers have claimed at least 3 lives in the last few days, including that of a 3-year-old child. Good morning, everyone. This is Montana Morning. It is Monday, July 28th, 2014. A beautiful sunrise this morning. The backlit clouds all beautiful pink and purple out there this morning. We have 58 degrees in Missoula. And our newscast this morning sponsored by Temp-Rite Service. Got any plumbing or heating problems? Or air conditioning these days. Call Team Blues 728-1111. Our top story this morning, a 3-year-old Stevensville boy has drowned in the Bitterroot River. Ravalli County Sheriff Chris Hoffman says the incident occurred Friday afternoon near Bell Crossing.
He, his father, and his 6-year-old brother had been floating the Bitterroot River in an inflatable raft when the accident occurred just north of Bell Crossing fishing access between Victor and Stevensville. The father told deputies that they had come to a fork in the river, and he attempted but was unable to paddle to the shore to avoid a log jam.
Hoffman has more details on how the fatal accident occurred.
The raft hit a log, flipped, and ejected all 3 occupants into the water and under the log jam. The father and the 6-year-old surfaced downstream of the log jam, but the 3-year-old became trapped underneath. The boy's father searched for several minutes before finding him and extricating him from the hazard.
The sheriff's office is withholding the child's name until his family can be notified. Hoffman says the investigation into the fatal accident is ongoing. The body of Dr. Robert McDpnald, a hospitalist from St. Joseph Medical Center in Polson, was found by Lake County search and rescue personnel in Flathead Lake Friday afternoon. Lake County Sheriff's Office Public Information Officer Karen Sargent says the body was first spotted by a helicopter.
We had the 2 search and rescue boats and the Flathead County Sheriff's Office boat were in the water at the time, and they went over to the pinpointed location, found his body, and went out and retrieved the body.
Sargent says McDonald's body had drifted for some distance from where he embarked in his kayak on July 19th.
It was due south of what we call Big Bull Island, which is a series of islands out in what we call the Narrows, which is where kind of like Polson Bay area goes into the main part of the lake.
Sargent says Dr. McDonald's body has been sent to the Montana State Crime Lab here in Missoula to determine the exact cause of death. And we'll stay on that same subject. Missoula County officials identified the 60-year-old man whose body was found in the Clark Fork River in Missoula. Sheriff's Captain Brad Giffen told the Missoulian that Jack Prey of Missoula had drowned. Bystanders spotted Prey's body Wednesday evening. Authorities say he had been in the water for several days. Police are still investigating how he ended up in the river. A serial rapist who did not leave any DNA at the crime scenes but was undone by his need to photograph them has been sentenced to spend the rest of his life in prison. The Billings Gazette reports District Judge Russell Fagg sentenced 42-year-old Toby Grigo Friday to 22 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole plus 60 years and 6 months in prison. Fagg said he'd never seen a more dangerous criminal or a bigger predator in Billings. Grigo was convicted of 27 felony counts in April for breaking into the homes of 4 women between January and July of last year and repeatedly raping them. Grigo did not make a statement at his sentencing. Over the weekend, the windswept Lost Horse Fire in the Darby Ranger District has increased in size to about 40 acres and is considered 0% contained. Bitterroot National Forest spokesman Todd McKay says the lightning-caused fire is burning in rugged terrain that at the time was too inaccessible and dangerous for fire crews, so it's being fought from the air.
On Saturday, our 3 helicopters working dropped 72,900 gallons of water on the fire. Retardant also on Saturday, July 26th, we dropped 4,000 gallons of retardant on the fire.
McKay says some ground crews are now en route to that fire.
We've got 2 Type 2 initial attack crews on the way. They should be here on Monday. We do have a 10-person hand crew actually on the ground hiking up towards the fire. They're going to scout it today and kind of look and see what kind of areas we may be able to as the fire moves down.
I just spoke with McKay yesterday. McKay says the fire is burning about 10 miles southwest of Hamilton, is not threatening any structures, roads, or even any trails. Officials will keep a close eye on the fire and send more crews if necessary. The unclaimed remains of 7 veterans from various conflicts are being given proper burials at Yellowstone National Cemetery in Montana. The effort by Missing in America Project seeks to provide proper interment for those who served their country. A brief ceremony was held in Bozeman Friday at a funeral home where the remains of veterans of World War II, Korea, and Vietnam had been kept after not being claimed by anyone. The urns were then taken to Billings for an interment ceremony Saturday at the cemetery in nearby Laurel. Dan Villa, the budget director for Governor Steve Bullock, says the state is seeing near-record returns on its public pension investments.
We have been using the people's money wisely. We've been investing our pension funds very prudently through the Montana Board of Investments, and we are continuing to exceed our expectations. Right now we bank on a 7.75 rate of return, and we're hitting 13% benchmarks year after year.
Villa says the high returns will help make the pension system work in the long run.
Governor Bullock proposed last session a fix to the 2 largest pension systems in the state. So as we fix those without increasing taxes, we're one of the only states in the nation to be able to do that and to be able to say that. Now we've exceeded our expectations in what we would earn on investment income.
The record amount of return on the pension investments is still held by a 21.8% return that came through back in 2011. Montana gas prices starting to fall for the first time in over a month. Here's petroleum analyst Patrick DeHaan.
Finally starting to pick up steam on the downward side. Prices across the state today average about $3.60 a gallon. Prices in Missoula down to $3.54 at Costco, $3.57 at a bunch of other stations. So we should see some additional relief here over the next couple weeks as well. Some of your neighbors, the Rockies, have been slow to see their price retreat, but that should pick up steam.
The national average is now $3.55 per gallon. Blackfoot Confederacy tribal members say they want to bring free-ranging bison back to their land just east of the Northern Rockies in Montana and Canada. Tribal members of the Blackfoot Confederacy in Montana and Canada have told the Montana Legislative Panel they want to work with them to help make it happen. And finally, the Montana Supreme Court has unanimously upheld a rule requiring that milk in Montana be sold or discarded 12 days after pasteurization. Thursday's decision dismisses an appeal by food distributor Core-Mark International that tried to abolish the sell-by rule. Core-Mark had argued that the processor is in its best position to determine the shelf life of its milk, and the 12-day rule discriminates against out-of-state producers who can print use-by dates on milk sold in other states. Our News Talk time now is 6:10.
News Talk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Look for a mix of sun and clouds today with our temperatures climbing into the mid-90s. Mostly clear tonight with lows in the upper 50s. Winds will be breezy this evening with wind gusts up to 20 miles per hour. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for KECI 13, your first alert station.
And right now, a few clouds, 58 degrees in Missoula.